Okay, all right, everyone. Hi, and welcome to our webinar. I'm very glad that you had to find time to join us today. Let's first check our connection, and if you see and hear me well, please drop some emojis in the chat. And welcome to our webinar. I will check my phone now so that you could join us today. I will grab my phone now and see if you have some answers already, because we have a small delay in our broadcast, and I will see your answers a bit later. Yeah. Well, I can hear myself on the phone. Great. Good. Okay, let's start then. Others will join us a bit later, and while we wait a little bit, maybe we had a lot of actually registrations from all over other countries, from all over the world. And I would be really curious to know where you come from, so where you have connected to us to this webinar. And just write in the chat, be active and proactive. I really encourage you to do so before we start. Let me check what your answers are, if you have one, if you decide. Hey, вітаємо. If you are from Ukraine, from Kyiv, from Lviv. Hey, Cześć from Poland. And Hala from Spain, if you join us from Spain or from Latam. Okay. Okay, guys, let's first thing first, let's start then. Thanks for joining us again, and I apologize for a little bit of a mess we had with our email reminders. We got a small issue with our email client, but now it's sorted. So sorry once again, and I really am glad that you finally make it and you joined us today. Today we have a new What's New webinar. It's our first webinar of this kind, where I will show you and tell you about all the product platform updates, new features and improvements that we have delivered during the Q1 this year, so from January till March. This is actually our, as I said, first time type of the webinar, and I hope you would like this idea, and you can share this feedback afterwards with us. And if you would like it, we will host such webinars every quarter with all the platforms update of this quarter accordingly. So I encourage you to share the feedbacks with us, and so that we can know if you like it or not. Also, this webinar will be recorded, and you will receive the email via the link via the email after the event. And if you haven't subscribed to our product updates yet, I encourage you to do so using this neat QR code. Then you will be in the loop, and you will be known first about all our updates that we deliver every month, actually. So yeah, sign up to our newsletter and be the first to know all about our news. Now, I would like to have a bit of the updates of the platform and company updates for you, what we have achieved with your help as well. We have now more than 800 clients, over 200, I want it to be 200, but it's about 25 countries all over the world. Thank you it's because of you. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for using PeopleForce, and we are really glad that you like the platform and you are our clients. So we are proud of that. Also, 2023 was really a big year for us because we have released more than 100 features improvements and bug fixes over the year. It's like more than 10 releases about each month. And we have started this year also quite good with 4 platform updates, including mobile updates, and have delivered already more than 20 new features, improvements, and bug fixes, which of the features I will show you today. Along with the product, all the platform and product updates, we also update our knowledge base article, so our help center, because we want you to start using the new features easily and ASAP. And that's why we have prepared and updated more than 140 articles already with 15 new tutorials. And all this in 5 languages. We have our help center in 5 languages, so we check them up all the time. We have the update because you will find all the new information there, along with our blog, of course. Okay, so this is our agenda for today. I will try to show you everything from it. I hope we will have enough time. And I will focus more on the first 5 features about recurring workflows and recurring one-on-one meetings. I will also show you 2 new integrations with Google Workspace and Microsoft Outlook Calendar, and also show you how to work with new feature time tracking for projects, and the new revamped rehire process, and the introduction of the employee lifecycle that we have released recently. Afterwards, if I have some time, I will show you a bit smaller but also valuable other improvements of the platform. And in the end, we will have live Q&A session. So I encourage you to drop your questions in the chat, everything that come along as questions in your mind during this session, and maybe about the features I'm showing, or any other questions related to PeopleForce. I would be glad to answer them. Also have my splendid colleagues today here with me, Yulia and Lydia, and they will also help me to answer your questions along in the chat. So probably I have nothing left at the end, but I hope you will ask lots of questions, and we will still can talk together. Okay, first thing first, let's start with the first feature, the recurring workflows. Actually, we have cheated a bit, and these workflows, this feature was released last year in December, but because it was quite important and requested a lot by our clients, I decided to include it in our webinar today. So basically, if you have identical repetitive tasks on a regular basis in your work, you can now automate this process with recurring workflows in PeopleForce. So, for example, if you need to remind your employees about utilizing their leave balance all the time, or maybe any other reminders before some date, for example, before Christmas, to utilize the balance, or to submit their timesheets, to fill and submit their timesheets. So these are quite a lot of tasks to a lot of people on a regular basis, and you can now automate them using the recurring workflows. So along with recurring workflows, we also introduced the workflow history tab, which now shows you in one window the progress and status of your workflows and actions inside these workflows. Okay, this is just a brief introduction if you haven't tried the recurring workflows and wonder what they are. Now I would like to go to PeopleForce and show you how to set them up and how to use them. And let me go to PeopleForce. I hope you see my demo account right now. And if you are an admin, basically, or a person with permissions to set up workflows, you would need to go to workflows, as I have it here. Let's do a new workflow and name it just death, just for this demo. And you have now an ability to choose the trigger to be recurring. So what does this mean? It means that you can activate, trigger any task, email, event, whatever we offer now in PeopleForce to be recurring. And you can actually choose the occurrence and frequency of these triggers. So if you choose it to be once or 2 times for example, monthly or weekly. We have a yearly options here. It means that your trigger would be will be activated every 2 months, starting, for example, this date on 17th. If you choose here also, we have an option for you to choose what date or weekday to trigger this workflow. If you choose the date, it means that it will be triggered every 2 months on 17th date. So 17th of each month, every second month. For example, if you choose one, it will be every month. And if you go, for example, leave it with every 2 months. If you go for weekday, it could be, it means that starting from today is Wednesday, it could be every 2 months on Wednesdays. It's pretty straightforward actually. So you don't need to do a lot of math to understand how this works. And also we can have an option for you to choose the last day of month as a trigger, so as a date for the trigger. I'm not going to activate this workflow right now. Here, nothing has changed. You can also apply several criteria or conditions to foreign employees to assign this workflow. And what I want you to show instead is the workflow history tab that I already mentioned before. So you have in this tab, you have now all your workflows with the progress that you can see that I have, for example, 2 tasks or 2 activities inside, and 2 of them are completed from 3. And also I have the status of these workflows as started, finished, canceled. So it's basically in the one window, you have an at a glance chance to see how your workflows are doing. And if you click some specific workflow, for example, you can also understand what tasks and activities are inside and what's their status. Okay, now this is actually everything I wanted to show about briefly about workflows. If you have questions, then please drop them in the chat. I will come back to them later. And I would like now to move on to a new feature that we have actually released this Monday. So it's really fresh. Maybe some of you haven't checked it yet, haven't tried it yet. So I hope it would be a good surprise for you. We have revamped the rehiring process in PeopleForce and also introduced you the concept of the employee lifecycle with a clear visualization of this lifecycle of the timeline of the all job-related events that the employee goes through in your company. So this is actually about a couple of new features inside wrapped in on the slide. And let's start first with the revamped rehiring process. So sometimes we understand that employees leave the company and they're eligible for rehire and they would like to return and you would like them to return. And before, of course, you could rehire employees in PeopleForce, but that involved some duplicate employee profiles or some manual workarounds that you would need to do. So it was not quite okay, not quite good and straightforward. And we have now enhanced this process, and you can actually rehire an employee in a couple of clicks in PeopleForce. But what is even more important, I guess, is that we now maintain all the comprehensive historical data and employment records of this employee. So everything before termination, the termination information, and also the rehire information afterwards, if you decide to rehire him. So we now store all this data, show it to you, and also it also reflects in consistent data in reports. And I'm talking about headcount report, tenure report, what else? Turnover report. So now it have consistent data, accurate data in reports. Okay, I think it's better now to show everything in PeopleForce, and I will again switch to my demo account here. And I have my colleague, Julian, actually here, who has been terminated, as we see on 1st of January. You see this in the neat red frame. And for some reasons, he decided to rejoin our company, and me as an HR, and we had some processes, and we decided to rehire him again. So now you can actually rehire him just from his employee profile in the actions menu. with the rehire employee button, which prompts you actually to choose a new hire form. And actually, sorry, I need to drink some water, talking too much. So the rehire process actually is very similar to the process when you add new employees to the system using the new hire form. I hope you are familiar with this form already. And this window prompts you to use the form that you already have. For example, as I have it for Poland, Ukraine, or Spanish employees. But what is interesting here, and I encourage you to think of it, maybe we advise you probably to use another form, because maybe you would like to have a separate onboarding process for such employees, for example, to introduce them to a new company values, or maybe to update them on some information. And you can do this actually if you create a dedicated form for such boomerang employees, and of course trigger an onboarding process and onboarding workflow inside this form. What is also interesting, and if you're using the People Recruit module, you can also rehire Julian from his candidate profile in Recruit. It's actually also here. You can just rehire with a click and choose the same form. The use case here is probably that Julian had applied for some positions in your company, right? He has run some recruitment process in your company, and he's already in your recruitment pipeline. So it would be very easy for recruiters to have him in his pipeline and then rehire him straightforwardly from the pipeline, not going back and forth to his profile, for example, because maybe they don't have permissions to do this. Okay, I want you to show you now briefly how this form worked and how we record all this data, because I want later to show the lifecycle and timeline, which would be very good if I rehire Julian now and show his data afterwards, how everything is recorded in PeopleForce. So let's choose that today is this hire date. As you see, this form is the same as the new hire form. The process is the same. Some data is already pulled out from his profile. I think I'm good here. I don't need to. I have a really short form here. Probably you have a long one, just for saving our time. Okay. So PeopleForce tells me that everything is saved. Let's go to the job tab and check his data. Okay, this is where we will check it. It's the new life cycle table, which we introduce along with this release, with this feature. It actually stores all the hire and termination information about about all the employees. You can actually edit these data here if you need it. And as you see, we have Julian was working with us 243 days before, and he was terminated, and now is today his first day of his hiring date. He's the first date of the company, and we already see this in PeopleForce. And I think one of my favorite in this release was this timeline widget that show you in a glance all the employee's journey in your company. So basically, every job-related event that Julian had in your company, starting from his hiring date last year, from position changes, for example, or relocation from Berlin to remote. Also, promotions or change the position, as I said, termination, and as you see, the new hire day. So Julian was 4 months without us. Now he's rehired, and we see it all neatly in the timeline. And if you're using job type quite often and you're quite attentive, you will probably see that we have revamped this tab a little bit. Now we store all the records in the drop down by clicking on this button, and the editing process is left the same. And what else have changed here is that we have moved compensation to a new tab. We think it deserves a separate shine, because you would quite often need quick access to compensations. And before it was stored in job tab, now it has been separated and is here in the employer file separately. Okay, now Yes. So this is what I wanted to show you with the revamped rehiring process, with the timeline widget, and with the employee lifecycle. And again, questions, drop them in the chat. I'm doing it a bit fast, probably. I hope you manage. If not, just ask me in the chat, because we have really packed schedule. I want to show you a lot of stuff, and we have just 1 hour. So let's move on. Now I mentioned that we had 2 new integrations in the recent release, so in Q1, and I would like to focus today on the Google Workspace integration. We also have integration with Microsoft Outlook Calendar. So first thing first, with the Microsoft Outlook Calendar, you can now actually enable this integration. Works pretty much similar like as a Google with Google Calendar. You can install enable the integration and sync your company's Teams Microsoft calendars to schedule, to identify valuable time slots, schedule meetings, one-on-one interviews. So it's just a good way, a one-way sync, and you can do this all in PeopleForce right now. More focused, I would like to pay a bit more attention to Google Workspace for those of you who are using Google services for business. The idea behind this integration is that we would like for you to turn PeopleForce like in a centralized hub for your employee data and for all your HR operations. So we would like to encourage you to do everything first in PeopleForce, and all this data again then can spread to other services. And Google Workspace is actually one of these kind of services. By enabling such integration, you enable a one-way sync of employee data from PeopleForce to Google Workspace, which means that when you create or delete employee in PeopleForce, you can just do it only in PeopleForce, and by enabling the integration, PeopleForce will command Google Workspace to do the same. Basically, we'll eliminate the manual double work that you would need before to do it separately in PeopleForce and in Google. And now we just do it in PeopleForce, and Google will sync this data. So this is quite straightforward. You can also choose which data to sync, which employee data. I will show you a bit later what options you have. And as you know, PeopleForce try to help you with automations and to automate as much of your routine HR tasks as possible. And this integration is actually also working towards this goal, making a step to automating routine tasks. And you can utilize workflows that we have in PeopleForce to actually add or remove users from your Google Workspace directory. Yeah, so you just command basically PeopleForce to do this to Google Workspace, and you don't need to go to Google Workspace and do it manually. Okay, let me show you the integration in work in PeopleForce. I will use my second account for that because I have Google Workspace integration enabled here. First of all, you would need to be an admin in a Google Workspace to perform these actions to enable this integration, or at least have credentials for Google Workspace. I have already installed this integration for myself, but you would need first to install it. Paste your credentials in Google Workspace, and then afterwards, you can actually enable this one-way sync, as I mentioned, as I told you about, from PeopleForce to Google Workspace. And you can also select which information, so which fields you would like to transfer from PeopleForce to Google Workspace. Maybe you would need all of them, maybe you would need some of them. Depends on what information you store and you need in Google Workspace. So we can send them all. Okay, once you've done it, once this is set up, how to actually add or delete employees in PeopleForce and command them like to do this in Google Workspace. So let's go to any employee I have here, for example, for Alejandro. And I have now, once the integration is enabled, in his profile in Actions, I have now option to create a Google Workspace user. This is actually pretty straightforward. If you push confirm, you will have a new Alejandro in your workspace with all the data that you choose to sync. I'm not going to do this. I want you instead to show you how to make it not only manually, as I did it right now, but with the workflows. And for that, I would need to go to workflows, for example, and choose offboarding. Here, let me check. Yeah, so a remark here is that it is actually logic to add a workflow action if you have, for example, onboarding or offboarding administrative tasks when along with the process of creating the employee or deleting them. So probably you have some administrative task for IT, for HR, for accounting, yeah, to create accounts, to fine-tune the laptop, whatever. And this actions with Google Workspace is actually logic to use in such offboardings. So this is kind of a tip for you. So once you have an offboarding, for example, workflow with the trigger set up, you can now actually choose a Google Workspace action, which allows you two options, either to create a Google Workspace user or to delete one. For offboarding, of course, it's logic to use the delete one and to delete the employee, and for onboarding, for example, to create one, of course. So this means that once you choose it, you don't this particular employee will be deleted in your Workspace account, and you don't need to go back and forth and delete them manually yourself. Okay, so I think this everything this briefly to show you about the workspace integration. Let me go back to my slides now and drink some water. And also, I would like to check if everything goes okay with our presentation. Okay, I see you have some questions in the chat. That's very good. I will hope to answer them a bit later if my colleagues will not answer them. Okay, let's move on to another new feature that we have released this Monday, time tracking for projects. Actually, was, I think, one of the most requested among our clients who use PeopleTime, so our time tracking module. They were asking when we're going to do it, and we finally did it. For those of you who wonder why you would need time tracking for projects, here are some brief information and use cases. Basically, now you can create projects in PeopleForce. This could be any project that you work internally in your company or maybe externally with the client that is billable, for example, is paid for this project. Or you can set up key work activities as projects, for example, for developers. It could be coding, code review, testing, I don't know, remote or office job, on-site job. So if you would need to, and you can encourage and you can request your employees to choose these projects when they clock in. And you would have the information for insightful analytics and for reporting. So basically, there are a couple of use cases here. Main of them is for HRs and managers when they work with billable projects and they need to understand how the budget is spent, so how the time is tracked per project for better budget allocation, right? And also, it's a kind of a project manager. This feature is a new tool for your project management kit because you can now manage time of employees more effectively. You know where the time is spent, and you can optimize their productivity and maybe use this information for performance reviews, for performance evaluations, for example. Also, another use case is for accountants. If you have billable projects that you work with and you need to pay for per hours or for extra hours per employee, different set of the price, or of the price rate. So you can use this information tracked by projects and timesheets for further payroll calculations. What is cool here is that this feature comes with no cost and is included in PeopleTime subscription. So you don't need to pay extra if you're using People Time. You don't need to pay extra for this feature. And also, if you are not using People Time and you're using some third-party tool, I encourage you to try this feature and see how this is going to work for you, if it's going to work for you. So maybe you will make a switch. So if you required it before, you can now go and try it in PeopleForce. Okay, it's time for the live demo of the time tracking for the project. Okay, let's go back to my account in PeopleForce. So first thing first, as an admin, you would need to enable project time tracking in general settings. I have already it enabled. So once you have it enabled, you would need to go to attendance and actually create projects, the ones that you would like to track time against. I have some project created here already. You would need to create your own. And let me go with just a test. Once you have the projects, you can add employees to this project. So people actually who are working on this project. Let me probably just for this test assign some of them. And yeah, once you've done it, you have people in your project. I would like to show you how this process will look for an employee, how they would need to track their time. Let's go to Jan. I will log in as him to show you. Oops, let's go to another language. I think Jan uses Ukrainian for some reason. Okay, let's switch to English so that everybody understands. Okay, so this is Jan's account, and once you assign him a project, he can go to PeopleForce and press on the click on button as usual. But now he has a choice. He has a choice to select the project. So he was being assigned a couple of them. For example, he can use Nebula and start tracking time as usual for it with the breaks and clock out, and that will be fixed here. If you have, this is not obligatory. So this is not, you are not forced, your employees are not forced to do this. If you want just them clocking without projects, it's also possible. So they don't need to pick them all the time. But if you need time tracking per project against project, then they would need to do this. Of course, if they're working for several projects on a daily basis, he can clock out from Nebula, for example, and choose my test project as a second time entry. So for example, he could spend some time here and then he can start working on another project. We know that there are companies that they don't like to force their employees to use the clock in button all the time, all the day, clock out, breaks, to fix all this information. And we have an option, a workaround for that as well. If you need still your employees to fix their time against project somehow, but without using back and forth with this clock in button, you can utilize the autofill option that we have released also couple of releases ago. It has worked also for projects as well. So basically what this does, it means that employees can now choose the project and also select the time spent on the project for every working day, just once per month. And PeopleForce will automatically apply this information to all the working days. So basically, if Jan chooses Nebula, that he works every working day from 9 till, for example, 12, so 3 hours, PeopleForce tells you, okay, in April, it's 3 hours for every working day. And if you click apply, we will put these 3 hours in his calendar, so in here. And you as in char, you can go and see that he actually autofill this for at the end of the month. This makes sense to make it in the end of the month, of course. You can also select the project here to see how is Jan doing across different projects. Oops, something happened here. Okay, and also, it works the same as with submitting the timesheet. So Jan can, at the end of the month, autofill all his data entry and submit his timesheet with projects already included. Okay, so yeah, this is what I wanted to show you for time tracking project as it is work for now. Just remember, this is the first iteration of this feature. We just released it on Monday. We really hope to get your feedback on it. to make an improvement, because this is how we build our product based on your feedbacks, and we really encourage you to share with us. And I personally encourage you to try it if you are in need of such functionality, and switch to People Time, because we are going to add something more to it eventually, for sure. Okay, now back to my slides. And one more big feature I would like to share with you today is recurring one-on-one meetings. We have released it a couple of releases ago, I think maybe in February. Let me drink some water first, please. And check our time. Okay, we have plenty of time yet. Okay, so recurring one-on-one meetings were requested a lot by our clients using the Perform module. And we know that a lot of you have already tried it. Those who use Perform already tried and played with it. And of course, use it right now. We also heard a lot of feedback about it. And we encourage you to share more, because we want to improve this feature, and we want to improve the process, the flow, to make it very comfortable for you to use, of course. So, and that's why we need more use cases and your, again, feedback to help us to do so. So as for now, I will a bit later show you how to use it as for now, as it works for now. I know that probably you have more requests to add to this feature, and I'm sure our product team consider them all. And for now, let me just tell you what's inside in recurring one meetings and how you can use it as for now. Okay, so basically, before you could set up these meetings manually, right, for every day. Now you can do it all automatically in PeopleForce, choosing the frequency and the duration, and also along with the this automation with this recurring one-on-ones. We also introduced a relationship tab. So basically, it's a thread of one-on-one meetings grouped by participant and organizer. And as the recurring one-on-ones are scheduled in the future, of course, we also introduce a timeline for you of the past, present, and future interactions. So you could check what meetings have already passed, what are on agenda right now, and what's going to happen, which one are going to happen in the future. Okay, let me show you in the PeopleForce. Go back to my account. I will just close this and go again here. Again, thanks for clocking in. Go back here again. Okay, this is me. Now, you have different options to schedule recurring one-on-ones and or like build a relationship, as we call it. So with your employees, with your direct reppers, you can do it with the quick add button. But let me go first to show you with the me button. So from me, you can go to one-on-ones, and now you see this is called relationship, all the relationship thread with the people that you have already one-on-ones before. So which relationship is a unique thread between you and another person with whom you talked to, with whom you had a one-on-one. Some of them are, for example, just a simple ad hoc one-time meeting. They don't have a next one-on-one scheduled, or maybe they were canceled. And if it is a recurring one-on-one meeting, you will see now which one is going to be the next one. So this is the relationship, as we call it, and how to actually create a recurring one-on-one relationship. You have two scenarios here, actually. So first of all, if you go with the new, if you want to create a new relationship from scratch, so from someone in your company that you haven't spoken yet, you haven't talked yet. For example, let me create this with Liz, probably. No, with Liz I've talked before. Let's take Adaya for that. Okay. With Adaya, I haven't spoke before. For example, maybe he's a new employee just onboarding, and I would like to schedule recurring one-on-one meetings with him. I would need to set up first a relationship, and actually you can choose now the frequency. For example, it could be weekly, every week. Choose the duration that you need. This is pretty straightforward and simple here with the time. Choosing the time slot and the starting date. Now, with the one-on-one template, when it comes a bit tricky, I know because of the questions that some of the customers ask, this is an optional field. If you don't know exactly, because the one-on-one relationship will hold, will keep all the meetings inside it. So if you apply it, it will be applied for all the meetings inside the relationship. So if you don't know exactly what kind of template you need, just keep it, because you can apply it on every meeting afterwards separately, manually. But if you know, for example, if this is like, for example, onboarding new employee or regular check-in, you can apply it, the one that you need. For example, let me apply the onboarding employee, the template. And template is very important, right? Because you have the talking points here and everything. And if you didn't apply, it would be empty, of course, and you would need to edit manually, but you could do it afterwards in the editing. Let me come back to this a bit later. So here, nothing has changed exactly from before. Just we add the possibility to share notes between organizers and the participants. So now they both can leave notes and share it, and it will be visible here. This is a new relationship with me with Adaya, and I don't have anything yet, but they will be stored here. And of course, we left the private notes of the organizer, which will be visible only to you. Here in the CL meetings, you will have a history. I will show you maybe a bit later on another relationship where I have already meetings before. But here is the meetings timeline, if I can say so. You will have these past meetings and the future, and the next one, future interaction meeting here as well. Okay, well, what's important here, if you need to change the time of one particular meeting, for example, for today, for the 17th, you would need to go and edit it here. You could need the change of the duration or the time slot, or maybe you would like to apply the type of the meeting, which will be about the kind of a topic which this meeting will be about. So, but if you need to edit the whole relationship, for example, change the frequency of the relationship, you don't want to have it more weekly, or you want to make it monthly, for example, and you would like to change it to 15 minutes because this person has already onboarded and you don't need to talk often. I mean, okay, 15 minutes may be a little bit too less. Let's leave it for 30. I mean, you get the idea. Or maybe you would like to change the template. So you could have this editing in here. And if you would need in a relationship like this, you have this schedule every week, as I have already changed. If you would need to add just one time ad hoc meeting, for example, for tomorrow, just to talk about something, you can also do this with creating meeting that would be already chosen as the manual schedule. So just one-time meeting here. So this is how it works for creating the new relationship. But if you have already a relationship with the person, let me go to Jan again. I have already a relationship with him, so I have already interactions and meetings in the past with him. I can see all his meetings here, for example, starting the end of last year, the meetings that were done, the next meeting that I'm going to have with him on 19th of April. I can go to each meeting to see what were the action items, what we've talked about, maybe some notes that we shared. As I said, we can edit the relationship or each particular event, both. Now, if you have in a relationship before, and you also would like to add just one-time meeting, for example, as I show you with Jan, the system, so PeopleForce will tell you, oh, you already have a relationship with him, so your next meeting will be in 2 days. Do you want to have just one-time meeting? And you will just say, yes, I want one meeting for tomorrow to talk about something, for example, for performance or, I don't know, salary review, any type you have here. And you can just schedule this an ad hoc meeting. So this is how you work with when you're a manager, for example, with the relationship. You can also do this, perform all this stuff in profile with your direct rappers. For example, if you go to Liz profile, performance, she's your direct rapper. You see the history of your relationship with her and also the history of your meetings. You can also add the meeting from here. See the same actually window that says that you can schedule one ad hoc meeting. If you don't have, for example, a meeting before with someone, I don't know if I have with Young. Let me check. Yeah, I already have with Young. Anyway, if you don't have a relationship set up, you can go to your direct reports, go to the performance tab, and schedule a relationship with him in here. Okay, so yeah, I think for briefly about one-on-ones, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Probably you will have more questions. And let me go to my slides again. And I will check them just in a while, maybe in 5-10 minutes when I wrap up. Now, yeah, live demo finished. I showed you how it's worked. And I want to, now we have some time that I probably can share with you a bit of a smaller improvements that we have on the platform, but still quite valuable and anticipated by some of our clients as well. So we had an update of mobile application in February where we added the possibility to work with documents, so perform basic activities with documents like viewing documents and folders, sharing the documents, downloading them. Also, we've added the push notification on the mobile lock screen about company announcements when they're made. They are yet to be improved, of course, but this is what has been done before in mobile. Also, we have added various I think I better show you it, not in slide, but probably all the rest again in the platform. Sorry, bear with me. I will go to the platform again and want to show you what we've did with reports. I think it would be better if I show it. Okay, so some of the reports also have been revamped and added new information. First thing first was the leave balance. We added the leave type column and the unit, which is really handy. I can relate to that. Those who asked for that, it's now really good, and also in the exports, good to show it, to have it. Also, with we added the additional compensation information as a separate tab in the two wrappers, in the compensation history report and in payroll, monthly payroll report. So you will now see have this information. Also, you can export because before we just didn't, we stored this information, just didn't show it. And also in one-on-one, those who use Perform, in one-on-one reports, we added the possibility to, where is it? Here, we added the possibility to filter by managers. Yeah, I think with the reports, it's good. It's this what we added in here. And if we talked about Perform, let me then show you also the what has done to Perform module, what improvements we have. First thing first, just the freshest from the oven from this release. We have added to your direct reports the possibility to have their review cycle, performance review cycle results in a glance. So now it's stored in performance tab in the employee profile. I have only one review cycle with Liz here, but if you have more, we will have all the review cycles here. We show you the score. So at a glance, you will understand how the review cycles look like, how the score was across the cycles. And you can also click on each cycle and understand what was said about the employee, which competences and ratings he got during this review cycle. So for managers, really gold, because they don't need to go back and forth and try to find where they can find where they can find this information. Now it's stored in the performance tab. Also, here in performance for reviews, first of all, we added the possibility to include links in the employee review cycle kickoff email. Yay! You can finally, for example, if you need include some links to some external resources or your own resources, you can now do it. Also, we have added 4 competencies. We have added the average. Where is it? Let me check. Forget. Okay. Yeah, for competencies, we have added an average score for every review participant, so self-manager and peer. If I would have peer, it will be also here. The average position, so average score. It was really handy if you have a lot of competencies and you need to have the average, so like what the score was. And also for the reviews, first, I think last thing I wanted to mention that we also had teams in filter. And if you have some, as I don't have a lot of teams here, but if you have a lot of teams here, you can select the review results and check them team by team. Now, what else? For the leave balance, actually we added a couple of policies, actually leave types, I would say. Let me show you. Here it is. I think, yeah, we added some activity types for not working paid, unpaid, and working paid days. So you can choose which one is one. It's quite important if you need to make precise calculations if the employee had take a leave, if it's paid or unpaid, or if it was really just working day. Yeah, I think that's all. We had some also imports of the leave balances. Let me show you adjustments. For our new clients, it's really gold. You can now import the file according to our standard with the leave balance adjustment so that you wouldn't need to go manually for each employee and adjust their leave balance. So you can just drop an import here and we will apply it to their leave balances accordingly. Yeah, so let me go back to slides. I think this looks better if it's on the full screen. Now, this is everything actually about maybe the major updates and improvements that I have time to share with you today. I also want to share some company news and fresh content for you that we prepared. And encourage you maybe to try it, to read it. My colleagues will send the links in the chat now to all these resources. So basically, this is like a selection of the newest one for you. As you know, we really struggle to help you automate your workflows and your HR tasks and routine processes. And we have prepared an article and actually an ebook on our blog about 10 workflows that you can automate in PeopleForce with examples, with screenshots. Maybe you read and get an inspiration or adjust your current workflows according to this. Also, just recently, I think yesterday, we had a cool post on our LinkedIn about must-read HR books. And if you are a book reader, if you're a fan of books and you need something to read on the weekend, you can check these books and got some inspiration. And of course, product updates. This is my domain. I really encourage you to sign up and read our product updates and check our emails when we send one about the releases, because we struggle to provide you maximum information about it on time. So yeah, you will find all of them, all the actual information updated on our blog and product update section. Now, and last, probably before we go to wrap up and the Q&A section, we participate in some of the events in Argentina and in Poland. And we invite you to join us if you are around, maybe. Why not? So if you're in Argentina today and actually tomorrow, we are participating in a TASI event in Bariloche. And we have our representatives there. So if you go there, just come by, let's talk and meet us in person. And we will participate in 2 events in Poland in May and in June. And we have also my team, our representatives will be there. So if you're around, come by to grab some coffee and let's meet and talk about HR innovations. Okay. Oh, yeah, finally, Q&A session. Let me check the chat. I hope I will see some questions there. I will just put on mute just to take my phone to check your questions. We don't have a lot of time, but if you have a lot of questions, I can answer them. Maybe we can postpone a bit. Just a second. Okay. I have questions there. I see it at least. And I see that some of my colleagues, thank you, answered one of them. Let me check. Okay, Irina, I will go from the last probably. Will there be changes to the working hours? I want adminification based on working hours. Okay. Yeah, I think I got your idea. I think we had this request and our product team knows about it. I'm not sure I'm obliged to answer that. I understand the question, and probably your customer success manager would update you on the progress. I would definitely had, I recall, we definitely had an internal conversation about that. So yeah, I think better if we update you via email with your customer success about this. Okay, Daria, I think my colleague answered your questions. If not, then maybe just ping me and I will check them. Okay, I have a question from Alejandro. We meet teams one-on-one meetings, meetings that not one that means for a group of persons. Okay, so it's not one-on-ones. Well, kind of, we don't have, I don't remember, we don't actually have the possibility not to schedule meetings not one-on-ones, because this is particularly for the performance for the one-on-one evaluations. Yeah, I think in PeopleForce we just don't do it right now. It's probably just in Google Calendar. If not, maybe Lydia, maybe you can help me here. But as far as I know, no. Well, actually, maybe Alejandro, the question to you, maybe you can actually describe the use case and ping us in the chat somewhere. And because maybe I don't understand the use case directly right now. And after you explain a bit, we can come up with the solution. Just it's a bit hard to understand what you mean. Okay. Okay. What else we have? To Malgo, we have the answer as far as I see. Sorry, I'm doing this like live, but this is a live Q&A. And I just check it one by one. Please bear with me. And if you don't have time, yeah, this will be a recording definitely. You could check the answer to your question a bit later. Okay. What actions does this trigger perform? Deactivate Google Workspace user. Deactivate or delete. I don't know the terminology exactly they use in the Google Workspace, but this is basically the deletion process. So you will don't need it. I mean, if you store it, maybe it will you have it somewhere, but we like deactivate it somehow. I mean. I'm gonna assign to one recruiter. Okay. Redirect emails. I'm not sure. I got the question here. Okay. Yeah, Daria, what's the difference with the updates between your workflows and the update of the recurring update? Well, it means that we haven't had recurring workflows before, and if you need to set up repetitive tasks before, like reminders, you would need to create them manually, like 10 reminders, 10 workflows. And now you just do it with one workflow, with just one trigger, and it's set up the frequency and when you want this trigger to be triggered. I mean, when you want this trigger to be live, and you don't need to do this back and forth copy paste information manually. This just saves your time a little bit by automating. Okay. Oh, hello from Cyprus. I don't know actually how to say hello in Greek. Sorry, I will be prepared next time. Okay. What if the last day of a month is a weekend? Well, it would be triggered on a weekend then. Yes. Okay. I think I'm through all the questions. If not, I apologize, and maybe we can continue in the chat somewhere. Drop us in chat and intercom we have on PeopleForce, or talk to your customer success manager, and we'll be around. Okay. Thank you then. Really hope that it was helpful for you and you like this kind of style of product update presentations, and you got a better idea what we have delivered, how to use it, how to try it. Really, please share your feedback within any channel you can talk to us. I would be really glad to hear, because I would like to schedule and have these webinars further in next quarter with the next releases. And if you're not our customer or our user right now, this is the QR code for you to request a demo, maybe to ask about the features I just shared. Some of our representatives will definitely show you and help you. And yeah, I think that's all for today. We're really on tight schedule. It finished really as we planned. Happy for that. And yeah, I wish you a great day, a very productive one, and I hope you can go and check all these updates later, maybe try play with this. And if something is not clear and I haven't answered your questions, I can always answer it afterwards. Okay, thank you very much, and bye-bye.